On July 30th, 2025, the world watched in awe and fear as a magnitude 8.8 earthquake struck off Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula. It was one of the most powerful seismic events ever recorded, sending shockwaves not just through the earth, but through the hearts of millions who waited anxiously for news. The Kamchatka region, known for its volatile geology and breathtaking landscapes, suddenly became the epicenter of global attention. Seismometers across continents registered the colossal event, their needles jumping wildly as the Earth's crust shifted. For a tense moment, the world braced for disaster, fearing the worst: massive destruction, loss of life, and a humanitarian crisis on an unimaginable scale. Yet, as the first reports trickled in, a different story began to unfold. Instead of scenes of devastation, the world saw resilience and hope. News anchors shared updates of safety, not tragedy. Emergency workers coordinated with citizens, and people checked their phones for information not out of panic, but to stay informed and connected. In the face of nature's fury, there was no chaos. Instead, there was remarkable order. Evacuation lines formed quickly and efficiently, guided by well-trained emergency personnel. Citizens moved calmly and purposefully to designated safety zones, following protocols they had practiced many times before. Rather than panic, there was a calm, practiced response. Families left buildings in an orderly fashion, children holding hands with parents, everyone aware of the steps to take. Emergency drills, once routine, now proved invaluable as people followed evacuation signs and instructions without hesitation. The minimal damage and near-zero death toll were not a matter of luck, but the result of decades of investment in preparedness. Years of disaster training, public education, and strict enforcement of building codes had transformed Kamchatka into a model of resilience. Modern, earthquake-resistant structures stood firm, a testament to human ingenuity and foresight. Deep ocean buoys, part of a sophisticated tsunami detection network, provided early warnings, giving coastal communities precious minutes to move to higher ground. Engineers and inspectors, who had worked tirelessly to ensure the integrity of buildings, now saw their efforts validated as cityscapes remained secure and largely intact. This was a story written not in the aftermath, but in the years, even decades, of planning, cooperation, and shared commitment to safety. International partnerships, community workshops, and government agreements all played a role in building a culture of preparedness that spanned generations. The Kamchatka earthquake became a blueprint for survival, a living example of how we can prevent the ground from shaking. We can build communities strong enough to withstand the test. Locals came together, supporting one another, beginning the process of recovery with hope and determination. The world now looks to Kamchatka and asks, what did we do right, and what lessons can the rest of the world learn from this remarkable success? The answer lies in unity, preparation, and the unwavering belief that together humanity can endure even the greatest challenges. Kamchatka is a wild, remote peninsula in Russia's far east, and one of the most geologically active places on Earth. It sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, where 90% of the world's earthquakes occur. Here, the massive Pacific Plate collides with the Okhotsk Plate, creating a subduction zone. The Pacific Plate dives beneath the Okhotsk Plate, building up immense strain over centuries. When the stress finally releases, it triggers a megathrust earthquake. This process also fuels Kamchatka's volcanoes and constant seismic activity. The 2025 quake was not an anomaly, but an expected result of this volatile tectonic boundary. The real question was never if a great quake would strike, but when and how prepared we'd be. Kamchatka's geology makes it a natural laboratory for understanding Earth's most powerful forces. Its story is a warning and a lesson for other vulnerable regions. Megathrust earthquakes are the most powerful on Earth, occurring only in subduction zones like Kamchatka's. In 2025, a vast segment of the fault ruptured in minutes, with the Pacific Plate slipping up to 15 meters beneath the Okhotsk Plate. This sudden movement unleashed seismic waves that shook the ground violently. The quake was shallow, just 20 kilometers deep, making the shaking even more intense. But the real danger was the vertical uplift of the seafloor, which displaced a massive volume of water. This abrupt movement generated a tsunami, sending waves racing across the Pacific. Imagine an area the size of a small country suddenly thrust upward, lifting the ocean above it. Unlike normal waves, tsunamis move the entire water column, carrying energy across entire ocean basins. That's why they can be so devastating, even thousands of kilometers from their source. In a matter of seconds, the seafloor heaved upward, unleashing a force that would ripple across the world's largest ocean. This was the birth of the 2025 tsunami, a moment when the Earth's crust shifted and the ocean above responded with unimaginable power. The energy released by the earthquake was equivalent to hundreds of atomic bombs, and it set in motion a chain reaction that no one could stop. Out in the deep ocean, the tsunami wave was almost invisible, just a gentle rise, no higher than a meter or two. Yet beneath the surface, a massive pulse of energy was racing forward at astonishing speeds, sometimes faster than a commercial jet, over 800 kilometers per hour. Ships passing overhead would barely notice, but the ocean itself was carrying a silent threat. As the wave approached shallower waters near the coast, everything changed. The wave slowed dramatically, but its energy compressed, forcing the water upward. What was once a barely noticeable swell became a towering wall of water, sometimes preceded by the ocean pulling back and exposing the seafloor, a haunting warning sign. Kamchatka's rugged coastline was among the first to feel the tsunami's wrath, with waves reaching up to 5 meters high. But the danger didn't stop there. The tsunami's energy radiated outward, threatening communities across the entire Pacific Rim, from Russia and Japan to Hawaii and the Americas. Within minutes, the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center and the Japan Meteorological Agency leapt into action. Teams of scientists pored over seismic data, confirming the earthquake's magnitude and location. They deployed a network of seismic sensors and dart buoys, sophisticated instruments designed to detect even the slightest changes in ocean pressure. Dart buoys, anchored deep in the ocean, used pressure sensors on the seafloor to detect the passing tsunami wave. These sensors relayed real-time data to satellites orbiting above, creating a global web of information that could track the tsunami's progress with incredible accuracy. As soon as the buoys confirmed the wave's presence, precise warnings were issued to dozens of countries. Emergency systems sprang to life, broadcasting alerts across television, radio, and digital networks. Maps lit up with warning zones, and millions of people were urged to move to higher ground. These alerts included not just the estimated arrival times, but also predictions of wave heights and potential impact zones. For many, this information meant the difference between life and death, giving authorities and residents precious hours to prepare, evacuate, and protect what they could. This was targeted, data-driven information, science and technology working hand in hand to give humanity a crucial head start. Every second counted, and every byte of data helped sharpen the response. The race against the wave had begun, but this time, thanks to decades of scientific progress and international cooperation, we were more prepared than ever before. The world watched, waited, and hoped, armed with knowledge and ready to face the power of the sea. The response to the Kamchatka tsunami was a triumph of global cooperation and technology. Within 5 minutes, the first alerts were issued by the PTWC and JMA. These warnings reached governments, emergency responders, and the public through multiple channels. In Japan, alerts interrupted broadcasts and sent push notifications to every phone. In Hawaii and the US West Coast, sirens and emergency alerts blared, urging people to move to higher ground. The system provided clear, actionable instructions and estimated arrival times, enabling orderly evacuations. Maritime authorities ordered ships to deep water, preventing billions in damage. The PTWC coordinated with national centers, allowing each country to tailor its response. Unlike past disasters, information crossed borders seamlessly, saving countless lives. The Kamchatka event proved that international scientific collaboration is our best defense. When the world works together, we can outpace disaster. Warnings only work if people know how to respond. And in Kamchatka, Japan, and Hawaii, they did. Years of regular evacuation drills turned knowledge into instinct. In Japan, memories of the 2011 Tohoku disaster led to new towers, vertical evacuation plans, and a culture of readiness. When the siren sounded, people moved calmly to safe zones. No panic, just practiced action. Hawaii's residents followed marked routes and annual drills, moving efficiently to higher ground or upper floors. Authorities managed traffic with contraflow lanes, preventing gridlock. The smooth evacuations were the result of sustained investment in public education and drills. Technology alone isn't enough. Trust and practice are essential. The near-zero loss of life was secured by millions who took preparedness seriously. Public awareness and regular drills are among the most cost-effective disaster mitigations. Kamchatka's success shows that empowered citizens save lives. While warnings saved lives, earthquake-resistant engineering protected communities. In regions with strict building codes, structures are designed to flex, not crumble. Technologies like base isolation and shock absorbers allow buildings to sway safely during quakes. Japan's investment in retrofitting and strict codes paid off. Buildings swayed, but stood firm. Infrastructure like bridges and bullet trains are also built to withstand shaking, with automatic systems to halt trains before the worst hits. Kamchatka's low population density limited damage, but the event tested modern engineering across the Pacific. Critical infrastructure remained operational, validating decades of innovation. The lesson: we can't prevent earthquakes, but we can build cities that survive them. Resilient infrastructure is the foundation of safety in seismic zones. Preparedness is as much about engineering as it is about awareness. Kamchatka's success is a warning for North America's Cascadia subduction zone. Cascadia, stretching from California to British Columbia, is overdue for a massive quake and tsunami. The fault lies dangerously close to cities like Seattle and Portland, leaving little time for warning or evacuation. Many buildings and bridges remain unretrofitted, and public preparedness lags behind Japan's. Shake alert and other early warning systems are steps forward, but more is needed. Kamchatka's story is a rehearsal North America can't ignore. The big one is a matter of when, not if. Preparedness measures work, but only if implemented before disaster strikes. The time to act is now. The 2025 Kamchatka quake offered scientists a wealth of data and nature's own warning signs. Viral footage showed sea lions fleeing before the main shock, sensing danger before humans could. Scientists monitored for volcanic eruptions as quakes can disturb nearby volcanoes. The event was captured in detail by global networks of seismometers, GPS, and DART buoys. Satellite techniques like INSAR mapped the crust deformation with millimeter precision. This data refines our models and improves future hazard assessments. Each quake is a natural laboratory, and Kamchatka's will inform science for years. Understanding these processes is key to better warnings and safer communities. The Kamchatka earthquake will be remembered not for the devastation it could have caused, but for the disaster it ultimately prevented. In a region long known for its seismic volatility, the world watched as Kamchatka emerged from the tremors with minimal damage and a remarkable sense of calm. This was not a stroke of luck, but the result of years of careful planning, scientific innovation, and a community united by a shared commitment to safety. The event showcased the extraordinary power of science, technology, engineering, and public action working seamlessly together. Scientists tracked seismic activity in real time, engineers ensured that buildings met the highest safety standards, and local response teams acted swiftly and efficiently. This success was built on hard-won lessons from past tragedies and on relentless investment in preparedness. Every drill, every retrofit, and every training session contributed to a community ready to face the unexpected. DART buoys in the ocean provided early warnings, strong building codes kept structures standing, and regular public drills ensured that everyone knew what to do when the ground began to shake. These measures, once seen as precautions, proved to be life-saving when it mattered most. For places like the Pacific Northwest, where the threat of a major earthquake looms, Kamchatka's experience sends a clear message. Readiness is not just a policy, it's a lifesaver. Families, officials, and entire communities must work together to prepare for the worst, so they can hope for the best. The path forward is clear: accelerate retrofitting of vulnerable buildings, expand public education, and foster a culture where preparedness is second nature. Every step taken today is an investment in tomorrow's safety. The technology and knowledge to save lives already exist. What's needed now is the collective will to act, to invest in resilience before disaster strikes, and to ensure that no community is left unprepared. Kamchatka's story is ultimately one of hope and empowerment. It reminds us that we are not helpless in the face of nature's power. Through unity, preparation, and respect for science, we can protect what matters most. By respecting scientific expertise and investing in resilience, we can transform future disasters into stories of survival, recovery, and even triumph. Every community has the potential to write its own story of resilience. The ground beneath us will always move, but with determination and preparation, our communities can stand strong, no matter what challenges lie ahead.